The town of Phaedra stood quietly, bathed in the dim light of dawn. The rolling hills surrounding it were bathed in a soft, golden glow, and the faint hum of life stirred in the distance. To an outsider, it might have seemed like any other quiet village nestled between time and memory. But to the people who lived there, it was a place unlike any other. A place where the boundaries of reality seemed to blur just a little too much. Welcome to Exceedingly Fruitful, where you'll hear the most captivating and relatable stories that will change your perspective on life. If you want more content like this, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to show your support. Thank you. Amelia Rowan, a young journalist from the bustling city, arrived at Phaedra one late autumn afternoon. She had heard whispers of the village's strange, unchanging way of life, where generations lived the same peaceful routine, generation after generation. Curious about the stories, she had been sent to write an article about the upcoming harvest festival, a quaint tradition that brought visitors from surrounding villages every year. Yet, as she drove into the village, something felt off. There was an eerie stillness in the air, like the world was holding its breath. The streets were empty, with only a few people scattered here and there, walking at an unhurried pace. Their expressions were serene, too serene. Everything about Phaedra felt frozen in time, as though it existed outside of the flow of the world. Amelia's heart began to race. She felt the familiar tug of unease, a sensation she often experienced in new places, but this felt different. The village, while quaint, seemed to conceal something just beyond her reach. As she parked her car and stepped out, a cool breeze brushed her skin, carrying the faint scent of wood smoke and something else, a sharp, metallic tang that she couldn't quite place. Her eyes scanned the village square, which lay just ahead. It was bustling, but only in the way a town festival might, with people talking in hushed tones and moving with purpose. The lanterns hung from the ancient trees, their warm, flickering glow casting soft shadows on the cobblestone pathways. It all seemed perfect, idyllic even. But beneath the perfect image, Amelia could sense a quiet tension. She was greeted by an elderly woman as she made her way toward the heart of the festival. "Ah, you've come to witness the magic of Phaedra," the woman said, her voice sweet, but with an edge of something otherworldly. "I'm here to cover the harvest festival," Amelia replied, her voice polite yet guarded. The woman's smile deepened. "Oh, you'll find more than just a festival here. The harvest festival is just a way to prepare. But you'll see. You'll see soon enough." The woman's words hung in the air, leaving Amelia with an unsettling feeling. But she pushed it aside, attributing it to the strangeness of the village, and continued on toward the fire in the center of the square. The bonfire had already been set up, and villagers gathered around it, speaking in hushed tones, their faces bathed in the light of the dancing flames. The fire crackled and flickered, casting strange shadows across the crowd. There was a rhythmic chant rising from the gathered crowd, a low hum that vibrated through the air, as if they were calling to something far beyond. Amelia felt her pulse quicken as she drew closer. Her curiosity piqued. She was no stranger to oddities. In fact, they often made for great stories. But there was something different here. Something that didn't sit right in her gut. As she walked closer to the fire, a group of children, no older than 10, caught her attention. They huddled together in a small corner of the square, whispering amongst themselves, their eyes darting nervously from one side to the other. They seemed almost afraid. "What's wrong?" Amelia asked as she approached them, her voice gentle. One of the children, a girl with wide brown eyes, looked up at Amelia. She was trembling, and for a moment Amelia could have sworn she saw fear in the child's gaze. "You shouldn't go near the fire," the girl whispered, voice barely audible. "It's not what it seems." Amelia frowned. "What do you mean?" The girl hesitated, glancing back at the fire before leaning in closer. "They don't tell you everything. If you stay, you'll never leave." A chill ran down Amelia's spine. The fire, glowing with an unnatural blue light, seemed to pulse in time with the chants of the villagers. There was something wrong about it, something that went beyond the ordinary flicker of a festival bonfire. Amelia's eyes moved across the crowd, but no one seemed to notice the strange glow. They were too absorbed in the ritual, their faces blank, their eyes lost in the flames. But then the bell in the town square rang, signaling the start of the main event. The chanting grew louder, more insistent. The villagers moved toward the fire, their eyes fixed on the flames, their hands raised as if beckoning something. Amelia felt the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. Suddenly the fire surged, flaring higher, the bluish light intensifying. Amelia stepped back, her camera gripped tightly in her hands, but the crowd around her was unfazed. The fire's intensity seemed to grow with every moment, the shadows of the villagers stretching unnaturally long. And then, just as quickly, a deep voice rose above the rest, breaking through the chants. "It's time." The flames flared, and Amelia's world shifted. She blinked, and in the blink of an eye, the town of Phaedra, the familiar streets, the fire, the people, was gone. Everything was consumed by the flickering blue light, and Amelia was surrounded by shadows, lost in a world she couldn't comprehend. The next moment she was standing alone, her breath coming in sharp gasps. The bonfire had vanished, and the town square was empty. The air was thick with an oppressive silence. The once cheerful faces of the villagers were now twisted, their features contorted in grotesque ways, their eyes glowing with the same unnatural light as the fire. Amelia stumbled backward, panic rising in her chest. She tried to run, but her feet felt as though they were stuck in place. Every step she took seemed to pull her deeper into the mystery that was Phaedra. The shadows of the town closed in around her, and she could hear the faint whisper of a voice, distant and echoing. "It's too late. You can't leave." The village of Phaedra had been a prison all along, and Amelia had unknowingly stepped into its trap. The fire was not just a celebration. It was a doorway, a portal that kept the souls of the villagers trapped in an eternal cycle, bound to the flames. Amelia's heart raced as she turned, but there was no escape. The fire's blue glow surrounded her, and the whispers of the villagers grew louder, drowning out all else. She had become one of them, bound to the fire, forever lost in the last light of Phaedra. The story offers an important lesson about the dangers of complacency and the hidden forces that can influence our lives. Amelia's journey into Phaedra, where things appear perfect yet hold a dark secret, mirrors how sometimes in life we can become trapped by routine, appearances, and superficial familiarity. The village's eerie calmness and the villagers' passivity reflect how we may ignore red flags in our own lives, often out of comfort or fear of change. Have you ever encountered a situation where things seemed too perfect, only for you to later realize there was something wrong? Reflect on how you handled it and share your experience in the comments. What would you have done if you were in Amelia's shoes standing in front of that haunting fire? Would you have stayed to uncover the mystery, or would you have walked away? Engage with this story and explore how small decisions can lead us to unexpected, sometimes dangerous paths. Share your thoughts with us, and remember to subscribe for more tales that challenge perceptions and spark reflection.